Hey guys, welcome to my introduction video for Devil Jin. So I hope this video helps you out to pick Devil Jin or maybe to understand what Devil Jin is all about. And at the end of this video I hope you have a brief overview of the character and whether you or not you might want to pick him up. So first off, how difficult is Devil Jin? So assuming you're a very new player and this is the first Tekken game you've ever played and you want to learn the game with, I would say Devil Jin is a very difficult character. And there are two types of players and you need to understand about yourself which kind of player you are. And I'm not saying this in a belittling way, this is just like everybody is different. There are people like me who like to play a very difficult character because they feel like they learned the game that way easier and because they're proud of it, and then there are players who don't mind picking an easy character because they understand that you learn the game faster with it. So if you're somebody who really likes challenges and doesn't mind putting more time to the game than necessary, you might start with a Mishima. But I would recommend every new player to start out with an easier character because it helps you learn fundamentals. I'm gonna make a video about this topic very soon, but just for now, I would recommend picking an easier character at the start of the game, but if you want to pick a Mishima or Devil Jin in that regard, you can do so, just be prepared. You might need approximately double the time than with an easier character. So for example, if you would pick an easy character you would spend 200 hours, and with Devil Jin you would usually spend 400 hours to achieve the same effect. But, and this is regarding higher levels of play, Devil Jin pays off long term. So if you invest into Devil Jin, after a couple hundred of hours, you get the sense that he is a strong character and that it pays off later, but I mean months later, maybe years later. So just put it out there, if you're a new player, you can start with Devil Jin, but beware, he is difficult. Okay, who is Devil Jin suited for? What kind of game plan? So, what is special about Devil Jin apart from other characters? First off, he's a Mishima. What are Mishima characters? So, Mishima is a term to describe a category of characters like, for example, Kazuya as seen here, or Devil Jin. So what defines Mishimas in general? And this will be a brief summary about the Mishima family and of course Devil Jin as well, because he is part of the Mishima family. So first things first, all Mishimas have access to the Electric Wind God Fist here. The Electric Wind God Fist is a +5 on block, high natural launcher. And this is a great move, but the input is very hard. Every Mishima has access to this. I'm gonna show you with Kazuya here. Oops. So Kazuya is a Mishima too. The three Mishimas you have is Devil Jin, Kazuya and Heihachi. What else do Mishimas have? Mishimas have access to the Wave Dash, which is an advanced movement option, as you can see here. A Wave Dash is a Crouch Dash, which is a movement option, and out of a Crouch Dash you get access to a couple of moves, for example, Hell Sweep, Wind God Fist or Electric Wind God Fist. And just so you understand for this segment how the input goes, I'm gonna enable the command history. This here is the Electric Wind God Fist input. So first we input forward, neutral, and by neutral I mean you don't press anything for at least one frame. Forward, neutral, down, down, forward. So just this here is a crouch dash, these three inputs here. If you do a crouch dash and time the 2 button with the exact frame that the down forward comes in, you get an Electric Wind God Fist. But let's go back to crouch dash. This crouch dash here is a very basic motion that you will need for any Mishima to play. And if you feel uncomfortable using these kind of motions, Mishimas are not for you. So I would recommend, when you want to pick them out, try it out, maybe a couple of days, see if it flows with you. If you really hate these kind of inputs here, you won't like Mishimas, because a lot of their core moves and their movement, like wave dashing, electrics, health steal, are centered around this input. So for the rest of the video you now know what a crouch dash is, and I will use it. So back to the topic, all Mishimas have the ability to wave dash, and a wave dash is just a crouch dash which you cancel with a forward input and then reapply another crouch dash. So you get this funny motion here. This is very useful, but it's hard to explain why to a beginner, so hold on, I will explain it in a different video. Just for now note, this is an advanced movement option, which is really great because it's fast and you can apply mix-ups out of it. But it is hard to do and it is something you have to practice, but all Mishimas have access. He has access to one of the best 10 frame punishes, 112. This move is great because it has okay damage for a 10 frame punish. It knocks the enemy down and you can hit confirm. By hit confirm I mean you can do the first 2 hits, which are safe, and if you see that they're connected, you can add this the third hit here on reaction. And also this here knocks down, and a knockdown is great for Mishimas because of their wave here. They can wave into your opponent and then apply a mix-up. So all Mishimas have access to this here. What else does Devil Jin have because he's a Mishima? A while standing 4-4, which is an excellent 11 frame while standing punish. So to put it more general, without going into much detail, we have this family of Mishimas which share a lot of common tools like wave dash, electric, 112, great punishment. And Devil Jin, if you would compare him to the other characters, is a more balanced character. Because we have on one side Kazuya, who is a more defensive oriented character, then we have Devil Jin, who is in between those three characters, and then we have Heihachi, who is a more offensive style character with a bit of weaker punishment. But Devil Jin is more balanced and he has a lot of tools that the other two don't have. But he doesn't have the extreme good frames. So why would you pick Devil Jin in contrast to Kazuya, for example? Well, just if we look at Kazuya, what does Kazuya have? He has the greatest lows in the game. Kazuya has great lows, but not... I mean, his mids are questionable. In Tekken, a down forward 1, like this here, is often used as the best mid poking tool, and most characters have a 13 frame mid poking tool. And Devil Jin does have one too. But Kazuya, who is more on the defensive side, has a 15 frame down forward tool, which forces him to play more passive. With Devil Jin, you have a 13 frame down forward one with an extension, which is really great. Not as great as Heihachi, who is more poking oriented. So if you want to play a Mishima and you like 50-50s and you like poking, but you don't want to go one of the two extremes, Devil Jin is one of the best characters you can pick, because he has all the generic Mishima tools and a blend of all the best things the other characters have. But he doesn't excel in everything. For example, his lows are good, I mean he has one of the best lows in the game, but his other lows are lacking. He has, except for this move here, no plus on hit lows, and this move here is reactable. But keep in mind, this is reactable by good players at high level, so if you start out with this character, don't worry using this here as often as you like. This becomes weaker at higher levels of play, but in general, Devil Jin is a strong character, the strongest Mishima of all three Mishimas, but not by a huge margin. He's like 10% better, if you get what I mean. But he's more balanced, so if you want to experience a Mishima, I would recommend starting out with Devil Jin or with Kazuya. With Devil Jin for the sole reason that he's balanced and you can find your own kind of Mishima play and then keep playing Devil Jin or switch to one of the other Mishimas. And Kazuya is recommended because I feel like Kazuya might be the easiest Mishima to play when you start out. And I will make videos about Kazuya soon. So let's go back to topic. Now we've defined what separates Devil Jin from the other two Mishimas, he's more balanced. and he has access to all the other Mishima stuff. Let's go to which kind of players I would recommend Devil Jin to. So, how should I put this? For, like, which players that... Sorry, excuse me, my stuttering. I mean, who would want to play Devil Jin in a good way? Like, what kind of player benefits from Devil Jin? Firstly, players who like to lab a lot, because all Mishimas have access to great punishment. So the better character knowledge you have, the more you profit from their excellent punishment. And just look at Devil Jin's punishment. Good 10 frame punish, good 12 frame punish, 14 frame punish, 15 frame punish, 11 frame while standing, 13 frame while standing, 15 frame while standing. All these moves are good. I mean, his 15 frame while standing launcher is not that good, but you can't have everything. But the thing what I want to express here is, to get the most out of this character, it's good to know the exact frames of your opponent, what is punishable. You need to differentiate between -10 moves, -12 moves. This is really important, and if you are a player who really enjoys labbing and learning everything about the game, a Mishima is a good way to start the game, because you really profit from your knowledge, because of this great punishment tool. Okay, what is another aspect that Devil Jin can really suit you? If you like to move a lot. Devil Jin is great at whiff punishing and creating space because of his crazy movement. And he can close up really fast. So if you're somebody who really likes to sidestep, for example sidestep electric is a really good option. A wave dash. If you like movement and you are a player who really likes movement, I would say Devil Jin might suit you. Let's go to the defensive, offensive aspect. Devil Jin is balanced. I would say Devil Jin leans more to a defensive playstyle, but you can play him very aggressively too. So if you're a very defensive player, you might like Devil Jin, but Cassan might suit you better, and if you're a very offensive player, you might play Devil Jin, but I think Heihachi suits you better. But Devil Jin can encompass a lot of playstyles. His defensive playstyle requires you to know how to green backdash, how to move, how to whiff punish, and his offensive playstyle needs you to have a good understanding of poking and a bit of execution to chain electrics or instant while runnings. Yes. Then what else? If you are somebody who really likes execution, and this goes for all Mishima. If you're a player who really likes execution, Mishimas are for you. There are some characters in the game who have a lot of execution to them, like Nina, Lee, and Mishimas. But the thing with execution is, it is work, so you need to understand that you need time for it, and don't get too focused on execution. I see that a lot. I made a video about the topic which I will link down below. So don't lose yourself in the electric vortex, as people say. So don't go off practicing 20 hours a day how to electric. It will come naturally over time, but you still have to learn it, so a double-edged sword, if you know what I mean. Now to the next topic. Who would I not recommend playing Devil Jin? If you're somebody who really hates execution, don't play a Mishima. Hard stop, that's it. Don't play Mishimas. You need execution to play them. There is always a way around execution, but do you want to play a normal Devil Jin or do you want to play an experimental crazy Devil Jin because you can't electric? So if you really hate execution, there are better characters for you. If you're somebody who really gets frustrated when they lose, I would not recommend starting with a difficult character in general. Especially not with Mishimas, because the combination of them being difficult and requiring a lot of execution makes it even worse, because you're frustrated, you lose a lot, now you're angry and you don't get your electrics even though you practice them, and then you get more angry and it's a spiral. So if you really bothered by losing at the beginning of the game, I wouldn't start with a hard character, because Tekken is a really hard game anyway, and there are a lot of better characters to start out with. Lastly, if you're somebody who really enjoys doing strings, I wouldn't recommend Devil Jin, because Devil Jin has only a few strings with limited mix-up potential, so he's not a character who's really centered around strings. I mean, his only string that I use, his only two strings that I use is Laser Scraper is his best string, and sometimes, occasionally, I use this string, 1, 2, 3. It has its uses. But Devil Jin is not a string-heavy character, so if you enjoy characters like, for example, Miguel, Devil Jin is not the character for you. If you like the poking archetype with a magic 4, Devil Jin doesn't have a magic 4, so he has good poking, he has a down forward 1, excellent jabs, good lows, but he has no magic 4, so you would be better suited with characters like Shaheen or Lee. So now that we covered recommendations, let's go to his strengths. So, what are Devil Jin's strengths? There are a lot of strengths, but I want to point this out. There is this huge problem when it comes to tiers in Tekken in general, and as many of you may know, Devil Jin is considered a top tier character, but what does it say for you? I mean, okay, he's top tier, but does that make him easy? No, it doesn't. Devil Jin is top tier if you know how to play Devil Jin, and that is really hard. And even then there are characters who are top tier who are equally as hard but better, or easier and almost as good, so just throw all this tier garbage out of your mind, ignore tiers. When you start Tekken, ignore tiers, they're just confusing. But let's go down to business. Devil Jin's strengths. Devil Jin is one of the best characters in the game, and because he's a very balanced character, has basically no real weakness. I mean, how should I put this? Devil Jin's weaknesses can all be corrected by training, execution and knowing the character. But this is hard. For example, if people step you, stepping is still a weakness of Devil Jin. But you can do Laser Scraper, but the input for a Laser Scraper is kinda awkward. It is back forward. You press back and then forward. This is the input. This is a bit technical, especially if you do it out of a wave dash. So what I want to say is, in theory, Devil Jin has no big weaknesses, but you need to, in order to make him strong, you need to learn him, and you need to have good execution and good mind games. So let's go over all his strengths. Okay, excellent punishment. His 1-1-2 is great. He has a 1-2-2 for plus frames. He has a 2-2 for more damage. 12 frame, 13 frame, 15 frame. This is no punish, but it looks cool. While standing punishment, excellent as ever. 13 frame, there is a mix-up for this here. And for 15 we get this here, which is an instant screw, so your damage potential is limited here. Oops. Let me just show you a typical combo here. When you record for YouTube, I tell you. Really weird. This is really weird. So you should get 62 if you chain one more electric, but I don't know what... You know, when you record for YouTube you drop everything, so basically there is a limit to his strength, and it's that his 15 frame punish has limited damage, but everything else in his punishment is great. What else does he have? He has the Electric Wind Godfist. This is a really powerful launcher. He has great movement options because of all his wave dash. His sidestep is average, nothing special, but his backdash is okay, and his wave dash is crazy for getting into your opponent's close range. What else does he have? He has a throw game, a complete throw game. So this This here is a 1 break, this here is a 2 break, this here is a 1+2 break, and if I don't fuck up, yep, this here is a 1+2 break as well, but this is more technical. So he has a complete frogging, which is really good to have. What else does he have? He has good lows. Not as good as Kazuya, but still you have this health sweep, which is one of the strongest lows in the game. As you can see, you get a full combo. And if you hit it really close range, you get a better combo to some extent, but in general this will be the staple you will be using. This move is great because of course it's a super low launcher, but it's not as great for the damage because you get 39 damage, and for the noob friendly combo, which is I think this here. Wait. 36, and if you compare it to Kazuya's health sweep. Okay, you don't see the damage. I'm sorry, wait a second. I'm gonna correct it. So, okay. So again. Yes, 33. As you can see, it's not because of the damage, it's because of the wall carry. So this health sweep is really great. What else does he have? He has a great jet, the best jet for all Mishimas, great frames on the jet, great range. He has a 13 frames down forward one, really great to have, and even a follow-up can be really hard delayed, undelayed, delayed, really great to catch people. He has laser scrape, this is a great, I mean this move technically is not homing, but it has so much tracking that this can be considered a homing move. Laser Scrape is a great mid-homing move. He has a plus on block high homing move. Let's set the dummy to stand guard. This here is +5 on block, but it has pushback and with electric. He has a plus on hit low, which forces crouch. For shenanigans here. He has some okay situations you can exploit, for example, if you do a health sweep at this range and the opponent stands right back up, you get a relaunch here. Set him to not set and back row. Like this. But in general, this should be basically everything. He has great poking, he has good lows. Some lows, I mean, if you don't want to apply a 50-50, his low options are this move here, which is a plus on his low, but it is reactable, so, and it's slow, so you can counter it often if you abuse this. 12 frame high crush low, great, and down 3, which will be your main low if you don't want to go full out YOLO with health sweeps. But down 3 is a bit harder to apply because of the range, and it is not plus on hit. So his highs are great, his mids are serviceable. He's no Heihachis. What are his weaknesses? Now it becomes a bit complicated, because if you look at Devojin that way, he has no apparent weaknesses, but he still has. I mean, if you start up with Devojin, his weaknesses. Homing. You can apply forward 4, which is a high homing move, but this move has, it's a high, and every high is really scary with Mishimas, because people tend to duck you a lot because of the health sweep and the health sweep and the electric. So every high you do, in addition to that, increases the risk of you getting ducked and launched. So you want to implement as many mids as you can into your game. You have this mid homing move, which is unsafe. So you shouldn't use this ever. Which is a shame, because this is Devojin's bounce, I mean wall bounce. but I wouldn't recommend using that. Never use that actually. So all you're left is laser scrape basically, and to some extent the electric, because the electric has better homing in Season 2, but it's still no true homing move. So if you want to catch people from stepping, all you can do is laser scraper, change your timing so you catch them ducking, or use while standing 2 and some other moves which track to your weak side. And out of a wave dash you can use a instant while standing 2, which is hard to do, and yeah, but we'll come to that later. Okay, the general game plan with Devil Jin. There are a couple of basic game plans. Game plan number one is staying at range 2 and letting your opponent whiff and then whiff punish. Game plan number 2 is staying close to your opponent, poking him, and then you wait for him to freeze up and then 50-50. And those are your two modus of operandi, if you know what I mean. So basically you either play a bit more defensive and look out for whiffs, or you go in, poke, try to sidestep, maybe catch a whiff, and you will alternate between these two playstyles. But just to be sure you understand, Devil Jin is a very balanced character, so you can play him in a couple of different ways if you really want to, but this will be the two most used moves. And by moves I mean game plans. If you feel like this is your kind of character, go for it. If you feel like you're scared that maybe you like the character but you're scared of the execution, I would recommend trying him out for 1 week and practicing a couple of basics. And if you want to try him out, and now we'll come to the what is required of you to play him, you should know how to electric once. Don't do any crazy stuff like learning how to instant while standing 2 right away, especially if you're me and you're too stupid to show it on video. Yes. Just learn how to do 1 electric, okay, and how to crouch dash once, and how to apply moves out of crouch dash like hell sweep or electric. And if you can't electric right away, it's okay if you can do at least a somewhat quick wind god fist. Nothing more is required of you. All you need to do is learn how to do a wind god fist or electric wind god fist, and to do a crouch dash. And after you learn this basic, you can try him out and play him fundamentally based however you like. Don't worry too much about execution when you first want to get a feel for the character. So, concerning mid-level, like you want to get out of low ranks, for example, you want to get out of green or yellow ranks. What can you expect that you need to do with Devil Jin? You need to learn how to backdash cancel to some extent. You need to learn how to do 1 electric for combos and consistent. You don't need electric for punishment in those ranks. You can use Tekken if you really want to. But you should learn how to do 1 somewhat fast electric, and you should learn how to whiff punish with an electric. And, but this is not necessary, it wouldn't hurt if you learn how to wave dash around yellow ranks. Everything else is bonus, so if you feel like you can manage to do that, you can play Devil Jin, and there is nothing you should worry about. I hope this introduction helped you out and you have an understanding of what Devil Jin as a character is and if he might be one character for you. And one last time I want to say that Devil Jin is a hard character, a really hard character at that, and I wouldn't recommend hard characters for beginners, but if you want to play Devil Jin, he will reward you later on, and he's a very fulfilling character to play. And don't let other people shit talk your character no matter who you play. And I hope you learned something, and see you later. Bye!